Okay. So read G7 data with country as index. Let me see whether I have that data. Do you have that data in your? So G7. Okay, it's there. I think it's one of. I provided that data later on. Make sure that you have that data in your data folder. All right, and then we read. Let's read this as G7 DF. Right. So then PD read CSV. Data G7 data CSV, and we want the index column to be country. So we can look at what that file looks like. You can open it in Notepad. Well, actually, we can even open it here itself. Data G7 data. You see, country is the first column. GDP, population, and an index denoting the level of corruption. So there are 4 columns. The first column is country, so we're going to promote the first column as the index column. Okay, and then let's print the GSDF. Okay, so there it is. Okay. And create a well-formatted bar chart. Create well-formed bar charts for the 3 columns. For the 3 columns of data in a single figure, right? So that's what we want. So here we need to first. So now that we have the data. Now we have to create a figure. Okay. So there are only 3, so we want the 4th one to be left blank. We don't want a square there, right? So we'll create a figure first. Okay, plot figure. And we'll give a figure size. Figure size is, we'll use the same figure size as before, like 1510. So that's going to create a figure for us. Okay, and then we want 3 objects, chart objects or axis objects, as we call it. Okay, so we have to set that up first. So one for GDP, right? And one for population and one for corruption. So we have to add these 3 objects. Then we need to specify where. So now we need to add that to this figure. So whatever the name of this object is, that's what we have to use here. Suppose if we used figure 1, then you'll use figure 1 dot. Okay. So if you use just F, then you use F dot. Okay, right? So since we are using FIG, we use FIG dot. Okay. Add what? Subplot, singular. Okay, and we want 2 by 2, then 1 2 and 3. Okay, so should be add subplot, not S plot. I have two S's here. Okay. So there it is. So we have the three subplots. There is nothing there yet because we just created the objects, right? So now we have to add what should go into each of them, right? So we have three objects, AX1, AX2, and AX3. Okay. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So AX1 dot bar, and then so we have what, G7 DF dot GDP. Oh, okay. See, I have to first start with the X here. G7 DF dot index is X index. Okay, so there it is. So that's the first one. Then we can copy that and change. So I do one. Oh, here I made a typo. So that should be AX1, 2, and 3. So we have AX1, 2, and 3. Now GDP and then population. And then corruption. I don't know. Let's try the other way of accessing data. Shouldn't make a difference, but you never know. I don't know why this works. This is just another way of, I guess pop, okay. I think I know what it is. Pop is a function in Python, right? So dot pop is getting confused with a function and the name of the column. So that's why I was getting an error. So once I put it in square brackets, then it knows that, okay, this is just a column name and not a function name. So when you have a dot pop convention, so it's first looking for a function, and since it finds the pop function, we have seen pop function before, haven't we? So that's what the confusion is about. But anyway, so now that we have the three charts, and of course we have to then format them. Okay, so we have AX1 dot, okay, we have seen several ways of doing this. So we can use the set, AX1 set. We can use set to set the title, several parameters at the same time. So GDP per capita, okay, that's the title for the first one, and then we can say X label is country, right? Y label equal to say dollars. Yeah. Okay. So now that's going to set up the titles, the chart title, Y label, and X label. And we repeat that for 2 and for 3. For 2, it's going to be population, and X label is country, Y label is the population is in millions. So if you take a look, so these are in millions, so we can say million, right? And the third one is corruption, so say corruption, okay. X label is the same, Y label is this is some sort of an index. Okay, we don't know what that. So the index 0 to 100, or that should go here. Okay. In the title, corruption index 0 to 100, right? So this is the additional piece of information or data that gets displayed. So to suppress that, we have to do plot show, and that will suppress that. Now one more thing we can do is, here the x-axis labels are it's running into each other, so we can relax that by setting the X ticker and X label. So AX1 for the first one, we need to set X ticks. Okay. So X ticks must be G7df.index, right? And then at those tick marks, so those are the tick marks for each index, and then at those tick marks we want to set tick labels. Okay. So those tick labels, then we can say rotation equal to, I don't know, you can try something that would be that would make the charts readable. So then we have to do that for 2 and 3 as well. Okay. So now we run that and take a look. So we probably need some H space here because the United Kingdom is running into the chart title. So we can add plot, subplots, adjust. That's what gives us the opportunity to add space on the width side, with the width side and the height side. So we can say H space equal to, I don't know, 0.4 or something. So let's see whether that would be enough. So that seems to do the trick. So now we have a sort of separation such that the labels do not run into title. Okay. So we start with the initial charts, and then we add layers of additional formatting as needed until we get to a point where the chart looks the way you want them to look. Okay? So did you get all of this done? You want some more time? Take a look. You're okay? All right.